republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back. It is a Monday, and I am back with Training Series, Episode 10. And today we're going to talk about physical fitness and shooting. And you may not see it, but they do go hand in hand. So let's talk about this a little bit. It's kind of a topic I really like to talk about because, I may not be the fittest guy in the world, but I'm striving to be really fit for me and where I used to be. And I definitely can see the benefits that going down the physical fitness path has helped me with my shooting and the way I carry my gun and just being able to do certain things better and faster and having more control over my body, that kind of thing. So we're going to get into that. Now, I will start this and say that if you shut this off because you don't want to hear talk about physical fitness and you're like, Todd, there's a million podcasts out there that tell me I need to do this and tell me I need to eat better and tell me I need to exercise and yada, yada, all this stuff. I totally get it because honestly, every time I do a podcast or I breach the topic of physical fitness and adding that to your dry fire routine or adding that to your range time or just adding that as something you do as well as shoot, as well as all this stuff. Like they are usually the least downloaded episodes that I produce, that I put out there. And it's kind of funny. It happens every single time, even when I do a radio show. I do my radio shows on Fridays locally here. And if I bring up physical fitness, crickets. Like nobody is a call-in radio show, live call-in radio show. Nobody comments. Nobody calls in. It's like they don't want to hear it. So let's talk about it though. How is your physical fitness? How does it benefit you in shooting? Well, a couple different ways. First of all, shooting is actually more physical than what you think. Shooting and moving is pretty important, is one of the steps as far as when you progress in your shooting. Being able to move quickly, efficiently, and smoothly is a benefit to you, and it's a benefit to your family as you possibly have to go and protect your family in situations like this. It's a benefit to everyone around you, right? You're just a better person because of it. You can do your stuff better. So it is a benefit. And I kind of got lost a minute. One of my dogs stood up here and they just got in this massive dog fight. But I know this is like squirrel. They just got in this massive dog fight, and I'm just making sure that none of them are bleeding out or anything. They kind of look like they're okay. But okay, back to physical fitness and shooting. Sorry about that. A little side trail there, a little squirrel trail, rabbit trail, whatever you want to call it. Physical fitness and shooting. One of the things that you need to do to be able to shoot accurately and efficiently is to be able to mitigate that recoil, right? You got to be able to control that recoil. And we do that through grip. We do that through our forearms. We do that from the way we stand, right? So you got to be able to be physically fit to apply the correct pressure and strength to the gun to mitigate that recoil. Now, that's not saying that if you're not strong, you can't shoot, because that is by far not a thing. I mean, you can shoot, but you can be better and quicker and faster, right? The more physically fit that you are. What's another thing? Well, if you are in a defensive confrontation, or maybe you just go out and you compete, right? And you're moving quickly from one target to the next. This stuff's all timed. The more physically fit you are, the more aerobic you are, the more you are able to control your breathing, right? The less you're breathing heavily and out of breath and wore out, the more accurate your shots are going to be. The easier you're going to be able to move that gun around from target to target. You're going to either not be breathing as heavy or heavy at all, or you're going to learn how to control your breathing. And that's where that endurance aspect of it comes into play. Shooting itself is pretty physical. It really is. It uses shoulder muscles, back muscles, arm strength, all this stuff that you don't I see new shooters show up who don't shoot very often, if any, and they start to shoot. 20 rounds in, they start to get tired. You can start to tell. Even in my permit class, we have to shoot, let's say, 100 rounds. They start getting 40, 50 rounds, and you start seeing fatigue. You start seeing people slouch when they shoot. Their form goes to crap. They're pressing the trigger really fast because they just want to get it over with because their arms are tired. That's all due to them not having shot very much, obviously, but having shot very much to build up the endurance needed to shoot, right? And let's talk about this. The more physically fit you are, the quicker you can get to your gun, the easier you can get to the gun, the quicker and smoother you can present that firearm, and it makes it a little easier to carry. And I'm not talking because I'm not some huge, fantastic, perfect specimen of an adult male human being by any means. I am not, right? I got a little experience around the waist. I get it. I understand. And I remember, though, at one point, I've come a long ways. At one point, I was almost 300 pounds. And getting fitter and losing weight changed my life. Like, it really did. I didn't feel like I was more motivated and I wanted to go do more things. And it allowed me to, let's say, appendix carry. That was one of my main goals. I wanted to be able to appendix carry that firearm. And it was doable when I was that big, but it was harder. It was a little more difficult. And now it can pose a little bit of difficulty because I'm not perfect, but it is more doable and more comfortable. The more physically fit you are, the more motivated you are to get out and shoot and get out and put in the extra work. I've talked about this numerous times, that I got a class coming up. Well, I've got this elite group of guys that comes with me, and I've always wanted to actually put a class together where I did this. And I'm going to have this group of guys test this out for me, those who want to, where I add physical fitness and shooting. I add wearing your forearms out, wearing your shoulders out and shooting. I add getting the heart rate up and shooting and learning how to control it, making yourself dog tired and then having to go and run through a course. Now, that might not sound fun to a lot of you. It sounds really fun to me. And I think it would be an interesting thing to try, an interesting thing to check out. And I've always wanted to put together an actual class where people paid to come and do this. And see how it affects their shooting. But maybe someday. One more aspect of it that we might not overlook, like in a defensive confrontation. What if you get knocked to the ground? What if you get knocked to the ground and you need to get up, and you need to get up quick, and you need to get up smooth, and maybe you need to get up while you're shooting that firearm? Right? You have to do that. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not super old yet, but I'm not getting any younger. And I find that when I get on the ground, it's, let's say I can get up. It's not a problem, but it's a little slower. It's a little slower, and I'm looking for those handholds. Like, that's the way it works when you get older. And the more physically fit, the more limber you are, the better you can move, the easier it's going to be to fight if you have to fight in a defensive encounter, and get up off the ground and get to your gun or hold someone off or whatever. And so that is something to keep in mind. But before I bore everyone to death, because I feel like I kind of feel like I'm calling people out, and I'm not, right? Let's talk about this. So the average American is what? The average American is not fit. Like, we all have our issues. We all have a little belly. We all have a little gut. We all, all this stuff. We eat like crap. We don't exercise. All this stuff's out there, right? Strive to do better. Start today. Just like with your dry fire. Do some push-ups, then stand up and do some dry fire, right? Do some sit-ups, then stand up and do some dry fire. Run down the road, run a mile, run a half a mile, do some shuttle sprints, and come home and dry fire. Go out if you can go, and if there's a range, maybe you have a private range that you go to, add a little physical fitness to your stuff, man. It's only going to benefit you in the long run. So, well, take it or leave it. That's my thoughts on that. And it really does. Being an instructor for, 14, 15 years that I have been, I see this, I see it come into play a lot. You may believe me, you may not. Maybe you want to believe me, maybe you don't want to believe me. I don't know, but it is what it is. So I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a good rest of your week. I will be back in a week with the next episode. Bye.